My name is Randall Lawrence, host of That Moment podcast, and I'm here with author Georgette Littlejohn.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me here today. I'm super excited. Have had an amazing tour of the place, and I'm just glad to be here and see what we're going to talk about.
Thank you. You are an author. So how many books have you written so far?
I have a children's book, I have a novel, and I also have a journal as well. So 3.
Tell us about the first book.
So the first book was a children's book, and it's called A Grocery Story. And I actually got the vision from that in a dream. Most of my ideas come.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I want to, let me get something straight first.
Okay.
For those who want to be an aspiring author, tell us, what do they have to do first?
I think just have a vision and a dream to want to do it. That's it. It's simple. I don't think it has to be difficult.
So most people think, like when people come to me and say, Randall, I have an idea, the first thing that I'll say, is it on paper? Do you recommend, because sometimes when people say they have an idea, they want you to put in the work. They want you to write it. They want you to do all this kind of stuff. They want you to put in the work. And I tell people who come to me with scripts, I got a good idea. The first thing I'll tell them, just to see how serious they are, is it on paper?
Right.
Because that's how you know if they're serious or not.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to put in the work. I mean,
right.
We all have ideas and dreams. So yes, you have to have the dream and the vision. However, you have to put the pen to the paper. I'm old school, so I do pen and paper.
Right.
For me. And so you have to have, I don't do outlines. This is just for me.
Right.
But at least you need to have something tangible so that when you get the opportunity to meet someone, that you're able to say, yes, I have it on paper. I have the basics of what I need, and maybe you connect with someone else that can help you to bring the rest of it out. But no, you do have to put the pen to the paper. That's for sure.
How long did it take you to convince yourself, okay, I'm ready to write my first book?
I don't think it was any I've been writing since I was a little girl. And I mean, I was a closet writer. I never ever used to share my work. So I don't know why, I just didn't. I think because it was just so personal, and I started writing so young that I don't know if it was whether I thought I needed approval or I don't know, but I got a part of being a writing group, and I hooked up with a mentor. And so she told me, and I'll never forget, she said, there's a difference between an author and a writer. And I said, okay. And she said, you're just a writer, and until you publish a book, then that's when you become an author. That's
deep. Most people don't realize how serious and how important authors are. Like if you're fortunate enough that you're financially in a place, well, not even the financial part. If you have time to write a book, that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing.
It's a big thing.
Some people like that are creative writers, their main thing is, I don't have time to do it. But it's like when you have, I know some people who've actually written books while they were on their vacation, or at least started, you know what I mean? Started the initiative of knowing the fact that, okay, this is going to be a book. Right.
Well, for me, I have an interesting story for my novel. So I actually wrote my novel in 30 days. I did it's a challenge called NaNoWriMo. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It takes part in November. So it's a challenge where you write 50,000 words in 30 days.
Good gracious.
Yes.
That's a lot of words.
That's a lot of words. So it breaks out to about 1,776 words or 1,676 words, something like that, a day. If you can manage to write that many words every day for 30 days, you'll have over 50,000 words. So as part of the writing group that I used to be in, they introduced NaNoWriMo. I had never even heard of it. And so, of course, I love a challenge. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I produced my novel out of that. And I mean, I was on vacation. I was adamant. Like every day, I literally wrote for 30 days. And when I got done, I had over 50,000 words. And that was my first novel.
You're incredible. That's incredible. Okay, now you can tell us about the first book.
So the first book came in a dream, a grocery story. And it was a children's book. It was about what happens at night when the grocery store closes.
Ooh.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because then Sausage Party came out, which is but it was an adult version.
Right.
I never saw the movie, so I don't know. But that was what the children's book was about, and it was about getting kids to like fruits and vegetables in some type of way. And so it was a real easy read, quick book. And so, yeah,
what happens at night when the grocery store closes?
You got to read the book.
Oh, okay.
No, it's about just the groceries and the vegetables and the fruit and like how they're in there and they're having this like Red the carrot head is one of the main characters and Stuffy the potato. So it's a really just cute book. It's for easy, for beginner readers, and so it just talks about what happens at night in the grocery store. So yeah, I'm serious. It came to me in a dream. Don't ask. Just.
All right, I'm about to put you on the spot. Where are the books?
I just thought about that this morning, and I said I should have brought. I just came from out of town, so I flew in. I did not have my books. I know, and I was like, I should have grabbed my books.
I'm gonna let you slide. Tell us about the second book.
So the second book is the novel, and that's called Miracle's Destiny. That's the one that I made reference to, that I did that 50,000 words in 30 days during NaNoWriMo. And so this is more of a family saga. It talks about secrets and the secrets that families keep from one another, husbands and wives.
Jesus.
Like the little.
How many pages was that book? I know it's going to be a part 1, part 2, and part 3 to that.
Actually, yes, I'm working. That book is around 216 pages, I believe. Yeah, so
wow.
Yes, and there is a second part. So I'm working on that now. I'm about 90% done of that one.
All right, so you say you got 3 books, right? What's the third one?
And then the third one is a prayer journal that I did. I just actually did that last year.
You've been busy.
During the midst of COVID, I released a prayer journal because prayer is very, very, very important to me. And so I created a prayer journal because I love to journal too. I think journaling is super important. And as a writer, most people don't realize if you journal and if you keep journals, that could be a book.
Mm-hmm.
That's a book.
Yeah. So, what do you plan on doing with your books? Are you going to put them in film format? What do you script format?
I do see Miracle's Destiny as a movie, definitely. But I don't know. I would have to get with some professionals and see what they think. I mean, because we always think that our stuff is the best.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it would translate well. So for me, I believe that it would. I'm also getting back into dabbling because I've always wanted to write a movie. I've done a stage
Well, you actually wrote a movie.
Yeah,
It's that, like the books transition
the books
into a movie,
yes.
so it just needs to be in script format.
Exactly. And I have a stage play too.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
So I have a stage play that I wrote, produced, half directed all myself. I had no idea what I was doing, but I said...
Yeah, stages. You already did it?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, when'd you do that? That's a monster. Like
I did that back in 2017.
You did? Okay, that was your first stage play?
That was my first stage play.
That stage is no joke.
And I did it by myself. I'm talking by...
What do you mean by yourself? You actually had the characters behind the scene on stage, directing them onto the stage and rehearsals. You did everything by yourself?
I did me and another young lady. She was a school teacher who directed students. And I said, I need your help. And she was like, Georgette, I never directed adults. I said, it don't matter. You directed plays. And so we did it together.
Yeah,
I pulled all my friends. My husband was the stagehand. My girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
I had another young lady that was in my writing. Well, older young lady, Miss Carrie. She was an artist. She drew all of the stage designs for me. I didn't even know you needed that. Like I didn't even know you.
I was about to say.
I did not know any. When I tell you, I knew nothing. I didn't even know stage left, stage right.
Yeah.
None of it. I had to learn it.
How did you feel emotionally going into that, and emotionally after you finished, both for books and the stage?
It was a lot. I do not recommend doing a stage play by yourself. Get you
you
some
can't.
help. Get you
You
some
can't
help.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's almost
It was
crazy. Unheard of.
It was crazy. It was very crazy. I funded it myself. Like, I'm telling you everything.
Mm-hmm.
So let me start with the book. The book idea actually too came while I was sitting in church, and I know people go, because when you read the book, it's a little racy, but it did come while I was sitting in church. I had no idea what I was going to write about. We were coming towards the end of November, and I was like, okay,
so wait,
I need
so
this
you
idea.
in church? You in church? You like,
I was in
okay,
church.
I'm thinking about this book.
My
Forget what the pastor said.
I don't know. He said something. I don't know what it was. He said something, and it sparked the idea. And what did you say? I just started writing notes, and God forgive me, but I did. I started writing characters, names, notes, and I just had a little synopsis, right? Yes. And I was like, this is my book idea. And so I took it and I ran with it. And it's very interesting because I'm kind of a seat of the pants writer. Everybody has their own way of writing. And so during that whole month, I never went back and read what I wrote the day before. I would make like a little note on a notepad or something on how I ended that chapter. Maybe a word, a sentence, something to just kind of spark how I ended the last chapter or the last sentence. And I would sit down and I would just start writing that day. I never went back because then our mind will play tricks on us. We'll start thinking we need to edit. Yeah. I need to take this out. I need to take that out. And I did not want to do it because I was on such a crunch to get all of those words. I didn't have time to go back and start editing. So I literally sat there every day and would write whatever flowed from that day, never went back. And that's how and talking about emotional, it was very emotional. And I still traveled during that time. We took a trip to Dallas. I remember I was sitting at my girlfriend's like countertop writing. Her daughter was like, "What are you doing?" And because I would be up in the middle of the night while people were sleeping.
That's when you do your best work.
Exactly. It was no distractions. And so it was definitely an emotional roller coaster like that whole month. But I was so I just wish, I ask myself all the time now, like, what was my mindset? Because I was so focused and so determined. Like, there was no deviation from what I knew I had to do. And it produced something. It produced a book. So very high emotions during that month. I don't know. You can ask my husband probably how I was. I don't even know if he remembers. But during the play, that was very stressful. Like, because, of course, I had to do auditions, and which that was kind of the fun part.
Casting calls.
Auditions. I had to find a place to rehearse. Luckily, when I tell you it was nothing but the grace of God, the young lady who helped, who was our director, I told her she worked at a school. Right. So the principal allowed us to practice and rehearse at the school when school was over. So we rehearsed there for free.
That's the theater part.
So that was good, yes. I didn't have any money to pay my actors. I was like, listen, y'all, I don't have any money, but I can feed y'all. So that was important. That was important for them. So that's kind of how we boarded.
Did you give them their credits?
No, I didn't know nothing about that.
So you can, with the play already done, you can go on IMDb.
Oh, wow.
And solidify yourself as a playwright professionally because you've already done it. And you can actually give them their credits. That's truly, truly important.
That is. So I just learned something new. I'm telling you, I knew nothing. And so we rehearsed, and that was interesting. But when I tell you, and even the day before Randall, when we left, we had the performance at Henry Wise High School in Prince George's County. The show was on a Saturday. I left that Friday night thinking, what in the hell did I just do? Like, this is going to be horrible.
How did you feel emotionally after it was all done? Was it like a relief? Did you come off a high? What did you...
It was absolutely amazing. I can't even, the feeling, it was like I did it. Like, I cannot believe that I just pulled this off and it wasn't a natural disaster. Because I'm telling you, on Friday, I thought, this is going to be a disaster tomorrow.
Hold on, I'm going to go off. Mike, how did you feel? How did you feel when it was all over? Y'all can't see Mike, her husband. Come tell me, how did you feel?
I felt very relieved. There was a lot of stress put on me.
Okay, right.
Transportation, set design.
All right, right. So tell us the importance of having that support system when you're going through all of this stuff.
Oh, you have to. It's a must. Like, it's not even, it's a must.
Yeah.
It's a must. It's a priority. Find your tribe. Find your people. I mean, because you definitely need it. Like, right. I tell people all the time, like, my husband was created just for me because I'm a lot. Like, and I know I'm a lot. And so I tell him that all the time. But yes, it's so important. Like, you have to have your tribe. You have to. I mean, we can't do it by ourselves. And I'm telling you, I pulled everyone that I knew. Like, I need your help. Like, my neighbor's son was a stagehand. My girlfriend's son was a stagehand. My son did the lights. One of the other actors, his son helped with the lights.
Yeah,
I did hire a professional person with the mics and all of that.
Audio,
with the
you
audio,
have to have it.
I had to have that because we needed it for the actors. I just could not do that. And so, yeah, I hired a professional audio person that fit within my budget. I was like, look, that's all I got. And so that worked out. I actually had a videographer. He wasn't the best, but he did capture the play as well. And so I just moved recently and sold my house, and I came across the disc of it, and I sat there and watched it one night while I was packing, and I was like, this play was actually really good. Like, it was really good.
I need the copies of the books, and I need copies of the play.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was really, really good. I think what saved me too is that I did have some actors who had been in the business for a while, and they really, really
they stepped up.
They stepped up and they helped a lot. Like, we had one guy, Tyreek. I love Tyreek. We wound up naming him the Line King because he literally learned the whole play. Like, and he was there helping when people was like, no, that's not your line. Like, so because of the team that I had, they were amazing. Like, and so that really made the difference. Like, they were very professional. They knew. So it was really good.
You want to give a shout out to them right now?
Hi, Bad Girl Blues cast. It's so many of them. Let me see. And then that was the other thing. People were like, you have so many characters for your first play. Like, this is not going to work. But it did. So Tyreek, Johnny. You may know Johnny. Everybody knows Johnny. Johnny, Iris.
What's his last name?
Risottos.
Oh, no.
And I probably messed his last name up, but you probably know Johnny. Everybody knows Johnny.
I probably know if I see him.
If you see him, I'm gonna show it. Johnny, Iris was my director. I met another young lady. I used to be a police officer. I was one night working. I used to work midnights, and Sharita, she worked at the local Denny's. I said, I need you in my play. She was like, are you serious? I said, yes, I need you in my play. I had the perfect. She came out. She auditioned. She was so excited. She had never done anything like that in her life.
That's amazing how you touch people's lives. Like, when I say prime example, me telling you to give them shout outs. Because, like you said, you can't always pay people financially wise, but you can do little things like this that'll inspire them to want to do it more.
Yes.
Sometimes it ain't all about the money.
It's not about the money. And she came. When I tell you, she tore that. And that young lady had never acted a day in her life. Sharita Odom, I will never forget her because she just was so. She just couldn't believe it. She just kept saying, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yes, I want you to come and audition." And she was so nervous. I already knew I was going to cast her anyway because I don't know. When I met her, I just knew that part was for her, and she tore it up. So good job, Sharita. She did a good job. Yeah, I had a lot. And who else? I'm gonna say Keita, Jasmine. I can't think of everybody else. Renee. Yes, Renee's been acting for a while, so it was a lot of people. Latrice, she had never acted before. Yeah, it was cool. Mama Dean, shout out to her, because we had music. My son wrote all the music for the play, so because I love music, so we had some little singing throughout it as well. So it wasn't really a musical, but it did have some singing in it as well. So shout out to my son who wrote all of the original music for the play. So.
Your son wrote the original music for the play?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yep.
So you truly had that support system in your hands when you thought you really didn't. See, most of the time people think when they have a good idea, whether it be theater, or whether it be film, whether it be writing a book, they need money. Majority of the time is just if you have that effort to move forward and believe in your dream, that's all you need.
Yes.
Because I promise you, it's about 5 or 6 more people thinking just like you that want to be involved that just don't know how.
Mm-hmm. Just do it. I mean, I know Nike has coined that thing,
Yeah.
but just do it. That's what I say. And trust yourself. Like, just trust that you have what it takes. And no matter what, like, I mean, the people will come. But you got to open your mouth, too.
Yep.
See, the thing is, we don't open our mouths. We don't ask. And you're going to get some no's. I'm not going to say you're not going to. But it's okay, because for every no, you only need one yes.
Yep.
You just need one yes. And it's how you treat people, too. So,
Yeah.
I mean... Just give good energy and it'll come back. Like, I'm a firm believer. I have no idea in all the projects that I did where the money came from, but
Yeah.
it came.
It always works out like
it
that.
always works out. Always.
Who's your favorite author and why?
Myself.
There you go. Yeah. Give a Snoop Dogg moment. I like to thank me.
No, seriously. And the reason why I say that is just because it's always about getting better, you know, as a creator, as a person. And so that's why I say me, because I'm
That's
always
right. You gotta believe in you.
Yes, I'm always believing in me and always thinking, you know, I can do better and be better. Like, I believe that just believing in yourself, trusting yourself, that our mind is our biggest enemy. Our mind is our biggest trickster. Our mind is our biggest thing that holds us back. And so, and then also, I think just find your tribe, like I said, but find that one person, find your mentor, find someone who can tell you the truth, find someone who can encourage you, who can inspire you. So I'm big on having mentors. Like, I think that you, in anything, I don't care what industry it's in, you need a mentor. You need someone that is in your corner, someone that will tell you the truth, someone that you can get inspiration from, someone who's done what you're looking to do. And so I think that that's really, really important.
Who inspired you the most? Who's your biggest inspiration, like, right now?
I would have to say my mom, even still.
Tell us about your mama.
That was where it all started. So my mom had her first child at 13.
Okay.
My mom never finished elementary school. My mom could not read. And so that's where my love for words came in, because I was her reader, me and my sisters and my brothers. And so that's what started me writing, because it was an escape for me.
Where's your mom from?
Philadelphia.
Okay, I love Philadelphia.
Yeah, from Philadelphia. And so, and I never shared that though with people. It was something that I was embarrassed about when I was a kid, that she, you know, and I'm telling you, I never said it out loud until I wrote my first book and published it. And I teamed up actually with a literacy group when I did my book launch. And that was the first time that I spoke about it, that my mother couldn't read. And so for me, that's my biggest person that I look up to, because I don't know how she navigated through this world without being able to read. Like, she had a driver's license, all of that. And
She's still with us today?
She's still with us.
How does she feel about you being an author?
Actually, my mom sold the most books out of everybody. My mom hustled that novel like nobody's business. I mean, I'm serious. Like, she sold more books than me, I think. So
how old is she, if you don't mind me asking?
She's 76.
She's still moving and grooving, huh?
76. So yes. So thank you, Mom. She did. She sold more books than anybody I know. More books than me. So
Mm-hmm. How does it? So, I know I just asked you this, but how does it make her feel, as knowing that you're a certified author right now? Has she actually sat and talked with you about how proud?
No, she hasn't, but I know that she is.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Now I have to go back and ask her, but I know that she's proud, like I said, by the actions that
Right.
she did. You know, my daughter wrote a book, and she will always call, I need some more books. And so she was very excited. She was very, very excited when I did the book. She came to the play as well, and so she's always there. So I know that she's
sometimes
proud.
in different generations, sometimes it's hard for them to express how they truly feel. Especially, it sounds like your mama came from a kind of like a rough patch. So sometimes when your emotions on your sleeve is not a good thing for them, because they need to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes if certain people see weaknesses and you're already to a certain point where you can't do certain things, they try to take advantage. And I guess she's probably one of those who's like, okay, I'm not going to share my emotions or show you my weakness, because I don't want you coming for me and I have to knock you out. Is she like that?
No, I don't think
not?
so. No, but
not
she
like-
will knock you out.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good question. I don't know. But I know that she is proud. I mean, like I said, she's been at
I'm pretty sure
everything
she
I've
is.
done. Yes. And like I said, she was hustling them books. So, yeah.
All right, so tell us about what you got new going on right now.
So I am finishing up Michael's Destiny. That's the second part to Miracle's Destiny.
The second book.
The second book,
All
the
right.
second novel. Yes.
Michael's Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Mike.
No,
Oh,
that's
okay. All right.
He got a lot. Listen, it was about I'm big on characters' names, and yes, my husband's name is Michael. When the book came out, everybody was joning and clowning him because the character's name is Michael, but it is not him. So, but the
All
second
right,
part,
Mike. You know, authors say when authors say it's not that specific person, it really is that
it's
person.
not him. I pray it's not him. It's not him. No, it's not him.
Tell us about that book. Tell us what's going on with that.
So it's the second part, is the follow-up. So it's coming from Michael's perspective of what happened and the secrets, and now that everything is out. I don't want to tell you the book, but
All right.
it's from his perspective. And what I am looking to do is to tie that into a whole nother genre of what I'm going to do next. And so really, really interesting. I don't believe in, coloring in the lines. I always say I don't think outside the box. I don't think inside the box. I create the box. And so
That's right. Are these books fictional, non-fictional?
Nonfiction.
Kind? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's what I'm working on now. I'm actually dabbling too in a little bit of script writing. So
Man, you should.
yeah. So we'll see. I'm kind of going with the flow, because I am getting back into it now, learning. There's so much I don't know. A lot of things have changed. And so that's what I'm looking to do now, because I'm trying to find out where exactly I fit. Because when you're creative and you can do a whole bunch of stuff, you'll find yourself all over the place. And
When you're an author, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Period. Like writing. Look, when you have written 3 books, when you've written 3 books, it opens the doors to a whole lot of other things. A whole lot of other things, especially if you wrote a good, extremely good book. You're going to see doors open from so many different directions. What's the most humbling experience you've had as far as being an author? And what's the most interesting conversation or moment that you've actually had as an author?
I would say humbling for me was actually being in the writing group and being a part of so many other writers and people who had already published books. And I think for me, just being with my mentor, if I can give a shout out to her, Cheryl Holloway, She moved away. She lives in California now, but she was one of, I mean, like after my mom, that's my biggest, she's my biggest fan. She's my biggest supporter when it comes to my creative and writing. If it wasn't for her, like I wouldn't be here right now saying that I am a published author. And I don't know what it was that she saw in me, because she just, from the day one that I walked into the room, it was like she just attached herself to me. And she was like, you coming out the closet, like you gonna get these books and these ideas done. And so, and for her, I mean, Cheryl has a lot of books published. I mean, she does short stories, but she has a lot published. And so just to be able to be under her tutelage and to be with her, that was very, very humbling. And just seeing how she paved the way for authors like me. And so I pray that I can do the same for other people. Like for me, that's what's most humbling, when people come up and I'm able to give back to them. Like that is what makes, for me.
Doing at any time doing your writing, have you had any emotional breakdowns or an emotional outlet piece where you felt like I'm actually writing a book?
Yes, I would say not during the writing, but when I was done and I actually had the book in my hand and I looked down and like saw my name on this book and this cover, and to physically have a book, that was a big emotional moment for me, because it's like I said, I mean, I just wrote 50,000 words in 1 month. Not saying, I mean, because it took time. Of course, I had to go editing and all of that, but to physically have that book in your hand, it's something like, it's like having your first child for,
So when you did your part as the writer, and when you let it go to the editor, because they have to finalize it, right? How did that make you feel during that transition?
It was a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to breathe, and that's the other thing. If I could give any advice, let it go. People, when we finish, you're always going to see something that you could have done different or something. I mean, even all of the greats say that, like, oh, I could have changed this. I messed up on this, but let it go. You got to let it go. Because if you don't let it go, it will never be published. Yeah. And so, but yeah, it was a sigh of relief. I mean, it was a sigh of relief for me.
Who else did you, besides the editor, who else read the book and gave you the okay to say, oh yeah, this is good? Right.
So of course we got to have beta readers. So I had about 5 beta readers, and they were not my family. They were people who I respected that were in my writing group, other people, because I didn't want to just give it to my family. And so I found people in the writing group that I was in. I found one of my church members and that wasn't even her genre. She loves a different genre, but I gave it to her because she's an avid reader. And so I gave it to about 5 beta readers and was like, listen, just, tell me the truth, tell me, be honest. And they were. And so that's very important. You have to have beta readers to just doesn't mean you have to change what you have, but just you have to give it out to the beta readers so they can give you their ideas. And if it's the same thing or the same concept that they're having an issue with, then maybe you might just need to figure out. I heard something really good. I just watched a YouTube video, and a guy was saying, it's not our job as the writer to fix what makes the beta reader basically uncomfortable. It's our job to figure out what's wrong, why they don't like it. Because people are just like, oh, well, I just don't like it. But why don't you like it? Like, you have to go a little bit deeper, and people don't really want to tell you the truth. And you got to have tough skin when you are, doing this type of thing, and not take it personal. Because if there is an area where something's wrong, and if it's, the same people are saying the same thing, how can I fix this? How can I make it better so that people will understand what I'm trying to say? So it's not pretty much, oh, I just don't like it. You got to dig deeper than that and get people to really tell you why they don't like it or what's not working. Is it not believable? Is it not? And so those type of things. And I had to do that because there's one of the big things in this book was a scene that I had no idea how to communicate this, and so I had to do a little bit digging on that, and so it was a little difficult, but I gave it to someone to kind of like, does this sound believable? Would this really happen? Would this is this how it would occur? And so that kind of helped me through that too. So you got to do research too while you're writing, and that's a whole nother thing. Like, you have to do your research, you got to do a little bit of homework, but don't get stuck on that either, because we can get stuck in our mind can take us away from the actual writing. So
at any point in time, did you ever think like, I'm not supposed to be doing this? Or did you have a moment, nah, I'm going to stop?
What you mean, writing
Yeah.
the book?
Did you have a point in time where you felt like, I can't do this?
I don't think so. I mean,
Or this is not going to be good enough?
no. I can honestly say no. I didn't.
That's good.
I didn't. Because I think, being a creative, it's your work, and it depends on what you're doing it for, right? So if you're doing it because you truly love the art of writing, then for me, it doesn't matter whether other people like it or not. Like, you got to continue to love the art of writing and expressing yourself. And so it's not going to be for everybody, and I had that incident. I had someone's like, "Oh, well, your book is," and I said, "But it's okay, then you don't have to buy it." Like,
who was that? What that was my next question. Was your family more supportive? Who was the most supportive in your group? Was it family? Was it friends? Was it people that you just don't know?
I think pretty much it was only one person. It was a former coworker, and she was like, "Ooh, your book, because my book, it's like I said, it's a little racy." Right. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, like, I don't think I could read that." And I said, "Well, okay, well, you don't have to read it." I said, "But because it opens up in a sex scene," and I'm like, "But they're husband and wife, so like, you and your husband don't have sex." Like, what's going on here? And so, but it's okay. Like, like I said, you got to have tough skin. And I told her, I said, but that's okay. Because you don't have to purchase it. You don't have to read it, and that's fine. But literally, she was like the only person. And it's funny because my mom was selling the book to church people. And I'm like, Mom, you know this book? And she was like, okay. And that kind of like, it kind of helped me realize that, like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's a book. I mean, and, people had sex, and married people had sex. So
when you first sold your first book, how did that make you feel? And do you still have the money? Was it hard money, or did somebody do it online?
I believe, no, I still don't have the money, and I should have. My first book, I believe my mom sold my first book, so yes. And
was it signed first book?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
How did that make you feel afterwards?
I was like, oh shoot. So yes, it was good. I mean, it's like for women to it's like giving birth to your first child.
So you've written, hold on a second.
Seeing your first baby come out is like, so yeah.
So hold on a second, because I think I don't know if you truly understand that you are an author now. You've written 3 books.
I do.
People can't look at you the same. Like, you're in another category now. Do you understand that?
I mean, I do, but I have so much more to do.
That's a good way of keeping that aspect of being humble. But you are an author. You're an author now. Not 1, not 2, 3 books.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I like I said, what did I say? We're our own verse,
Yeah.
I have so much more to do. And
that's me too.
And it's so much more that I have not done. Like, I'm telling you, Randall, when I have found books, like I said, we just recently sold our house and we're moving. And in the process of moving, and it's still like, it brings me to tears and chills. Like, I literally found a journal from 1987, I think. No, it was 88. I'm sorry. 88, 89. It was 3:00 in the morning. God always, I still wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was writing in this journal, and I was writing, God, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, you know, I keep coming up with all these stories, these ideas. Am I going to be a writer? Like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Am I going to be an author? Like, can I even do this? Like, making reference to your question, can I even do this? Like, this doesn't even make, like, I don't even know. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? And I literally, when I found that journal, that's when it hit me like, oh my God. Like,
wait, did you just answer your that moment question? I need to ask, when did in your time in your life, when did you have that moment experience? Was it
that was the moment. Because I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was all of those years. That was the young Georgette writing to the Georgette now that was looking at that book and at those pages. And then after that, it was a short story. I literally wrote a short story. After I had just wrote those words to myself, I wrote a short story that I didn't even remember writing. So that was the moment that I was like, wow. So that's why I tell y'all, keep y'all journals. Like, journaling is important.
Do you have a certain limit of books that you want to get to as far as like a writer that you want to write?
There's no limit.
Whenever it comes in.
Whenever it comes, yes. There's no limit. No limit. Whatever the good Lord lets me do. So.
If you have something to say to inspiring writers out there, what would it be?
Trust your gut. Find your tribe. And just do it, as Nike says. And just believe in yourself. Like, no matter what people tell you, like we said earlier, the money will come. Open your mouth and ask for the help that you need. Put in the work too now. You got to put in the work. And do the best that you can do with what you know how to do. And everything else will come along. And I know people are like, oh, trust the process. But it really, and I don't like when people say that, but just trust. I won't say trust the process. I'm going to say trust, because it makes a difference.
Well, I truly, truly, truly want to thank you for coming to That Moment podcast show, giving us all this knowledge and this inspirational direction for other authors like yourself. Once again, my name is Randall Lawrence, the host of That Moment podcast show. Tell us who you are. Tell us how we can stay in contact with you, and give us all that information to look you up.
Sure. Once again, I'm Georgette Littlefoot. I'm Georgette Littlejohn, and you can find me, of course, on all social media handles. You can also go to my website, authorgeorgettelittlejohn.com. My books are there. You can find them on Amazon as well. And so, yeah, just reach out to me. I love. I'm a mentor by heart. So please, if you have any questions, any way I can help you, inspire you, please just look me up and hit me up, and I'll do my best.
Give us your social media information again.
Yep. So on Facebook, it's just Georgette Littlejohn. I also have a page, Author Littlejohn. On Instagram, I'm at the official Preaker. I don't really tweet too much, but I am on Twitter as well as an official Preaker. So if you want to find me on Twitter, so that's where I am.
And that felt like 55 minutes.
That was 45.